Welcome back, my night outers. This is DJ Psycho Eddie, Mike and Marianne in studio with us from Tasting New England. Now, we were talking about a couple of local institutions that we've been to that, granted, they're pricey, but are they actually worth the price? You know, I mean, I am all for getting paying what a meal's worth, and I'll pay extra as long as the meal's good. But if you have someplace, I'm not going to mention any names because I don't like throwing mud, but if you went to someplace like in Tiverton, right on the water, there's a seafood shack where you're going to spend $24 for a clam belly dinner that you can get anywhere else for half the price.
Right.
Is it worth it because it's an institution or it's been around since, my grandparents were young? Is it worth that money?
No, it's life's too short to be doing that kind of thing, right? It's that's kind of where we're at when we were talking earlier. Where Marianne and I we like to cook. We're kind of, I don't want to say homebodies, but we like to cook at home, and but you realize there are just so many great places around in not just our little area, and not the huge established places or the the place that everybody knows. The little, you want to go to that little place kind of in the corner where you might get a really great deal on some good food, and it becomes a go-to place for the rest of your life, All
right. Now, we were just talking about also the up-and-coming restaurants, the ones that seem to be all the rage. Like right now, a place that I've gone to and I have fallen in love with, Los Andes. Peruvian food. You don't find the Peruvian, the Taco Bell equivalent for Peruvian food. They just don't have it. So when you go, you're getting a good meal because, well, half the people there have either been to Peru, the wait staff, I think they import them from Peru along with half the food, but the food is amazing. What do you think about these up-and-coming restaurants? Is there success because they're new and different, or is there success based solely on the quality of their food?
I think it comes down to the quality of their food. I think at first they get a big crowd because the word's out. It seems like the hot place to go, but
then people come back because the food's
going to be
good.
Based on the quality.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
Now, we were talking also. You finally you got a few restaurants that you were talking about. You want to bring that back up?
Yeah. Well, I was going back to the the reason I keep bringing this up is I listened to it today. But here, Mark Curtis interview. It was the well, you mentioned Portuguese food, and being from Bristol, huge Portuguese population. And on our list that we had put out for the 4th was a place called the Casual Inn, very small, nice little place, but outstanding Portuguese food and general seafood. So I would, if you're going to go to Bristol, definitely check that place out. Prices are all definitely reasonable. Another place is O'Dennis in East Providence, which we just went to probably about a year ago for I think it was a birthday party. Yeah. And that was phenomenal, like authentic Portuguese, and prices were extremely reasonable. Like $13, $14 a plate, for
like
great
heaping
stuff.
piles.
And don't ask me to pronounce any of it, but fortunately there's descriptions on the menu. But it's all really good.
Now, do you venture into fall? Well, obviously you venture out there, but just strictly for dining purposes, would you venture into Fall River, New Bedford, where they call it the world's longest bridge, where you're going all the way into Portugal? Puerto Rico is the other direction. I'm sorry about that. Hate mail, please send it to djpsychoeddie@verizon.net or at mynightoutradio@verizon.net. But no, when you go into Fall River, you can't throw a stone without hitting a decent Portuguese restaurant, and every third one is phenomenal. And how do you, if you went into a place that was so heavy with similar food, how would you pick, or would you pick, or would you just take a recommendation off of someone else, or?
Yeah, I guess you just.
Well, hopefully our website. That's another reason why we have the website. It's all these little, nook and cranny kind of places that no one knows of. Hopefully they'll be listed. There'll be reviews on them by local people that you can feel like you can trust more, rather than like a big Yelp service or something like that.
Yeah, Yelp seems to be, they have their place, either it's searchable for distance and whatever from where you are. If you're lost and you're hungry, and you can find a meal close quickly, but you're not getting the local input from the people that are actually going to these restaurants. So again, if someone wants us to recommend, hey, come to this restaurant and check out whatever meal, how would they do that?
So you just go to tastingnewengland.com, click on the directory, or the guide we call it in there, and it's very similar to a Yelp. So you can search by distance, you can do all that type of stuff. But yeah, just list it, and we have different categories, everything from clam shacks all the way up to fine dining. So and everything in between, and list it there. And again, it's really become popularly the locally sourced things. Whether it's ingredients or food. It's that's kind of the flavor we want on this. Local people talking about local restaurants, and you get the best information that way, I think.
Now, where do you weigh in on as far as food to farm to table, food to table? Food always goes to the table, but farm to table, where it's you're getting this, all your meal is coming from within 5 or 10 miles of where you're eating it. Like you have the local farms, whatever's out there, and
yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. I have a good friend that used to be the executive chef at the Boathouse in Castle Hill. John Canberra, I'll throw his name out there. Give him a little plug. He's now he runs the food at Roger Williams University. But anyway, he's huge into the locally sourced food and bringing it with family in the fishing business that we mentioned before. It's their livelihood depends on that. So I like that idea from a local economy perspective. Keeping the local small farmer or small fisherman in business. So I'm all for it.
Now, as you're progressing, where do you see Tasting New England in the next year, 2 years? Have you looked out that far yet, or where you want it to be at least?
No, it's one of those things where we're just rolling the dice at this point to see if it takes, and hopefully it does. But it'd be great if we became one of the go-to places to find if someone wants to go out to eat in New England, or wants a New England recipe that they want to learn how to make. What did we put on there the other day? Clear Rhode Island chowder. They go there and they find the recipe.
Which I got to say, Rhode Island is one of the few places that does a clear chowder.
Yep.
And don't get me wrong, I know Manhattan has its place. I know that the white chowder, the New England clam chowder, whatever you want to call it, that has its place as well. And I've seen some horrible things happen to chowder in the name of making it either Manhattan but it all starts from the clear Rhode Island base.
Yeah.
I'm not going to mention any names, George's and Galilee, but I actually watched someone pour cold cream into warm chowder, then microwave it, just so they can call. Yeah, I don't know if that person still works there. It happened a little while ago, but I saw that and I refused to ever go back to that place because that's not. You're supposed to cook it. It's not.
Right.
It's not an add-on.
Right. The thing I love about the clear chowder. Especially in the summer, the heavy white chowder with all that cream and stuff, it just sits in your gut. I like the light, clear chowder, and plus it's super easy to make. I mean, it really takes you about 30 minutes if you.
All right. Now I'm gonna put you on the spot again. Okay. I love putting people on the spot, making them feel uncomfortable. If you had to pick right now where you're going after you leave here, reservations aside, where would it be?
Let's think. Well, there was that place you were just talking about, Aqualantes. Aqualantes. That sounds like a good close by place to go.
All right,
Italian food I can do. Unfortunately, as I mentioned earlier, I'm on a little bit of a restriction on my food, so I can slim down so I can eat more food, I guess. But
the yo-yo syndrome. I'm slimming down so I could eat more.
It's the pants stop fitting, so I'm trying to save money on pants.
It's okay. They make them in a bigger size. Trust me.
But that's the thing. I gotta buy new pants, and I'm too cheap to do that. I'd rather spend it on food.
Why don't we take a break? We're going to leave here with Blindside Thunder. Let's see, which Blindside Thunder are we going to do here today? We're going to do Burn with Blindside Thunder. You're listening to My Night Out Radio it's going to be a bad day. My Night Out Radio on Rhode Island Free Radio. We'll be back in a minute.